Hey everybody, this is George Brasher with Shakedown of Thunder Sports, and you're about to watch the two Irish brothers. Go Irish.
Quinn pumps once. Buys some time and finds Samardzija. Samardzija with a cutback. 5, touchdown!
How's it going, everyone? I am Sean Moriarty,
I'm Benjamin Walters.
and this is the Two Irish Brothers Show. Now, just to give everybody a fair warning, there might be a little bit of a delay between Ben and I responding to one another. There's some crazy stuff going on with both of our internets, so just bear with us in this one, okay? But first things first, before we get to the main discussion of this video, you guys know the drill by now. Hit that subscribe tab in the bottom right-hand corner, like or dislike the video for algorithm purposes, and make sure you hit that bell icon so you're always notified of new material here on the Two Irish Brothers Show. Well, Ben, it is great to be back on screen with you.
Yes, it has been a quick minute since we have been together, but here we are, and the season is literally around the corner, so it's exciting.
Well, it's a good thing we have the United Football League to tide us over, and I know we haven't really been covering that much on the channel this season, but it's there. We're watching it. It's been a lot of fun, and well, we'll save that for another day. So, Ben, before we get to the main topic of this week's video, I just wanted to get your opinion because you weren't here for the post game for the spring game. I got to know your take on everything with the Notre Dame quarterback situation. You know, we had Steve Angeli transferring, which it's not surprising that somebody in that crowded room was going to transfer. So what's your take on this moving forward?
I mean, CJ Carr was always Freeman's guy, so it's no surprise. And in a way, it's a breath of fresh air as a Notre Dame fan to see the Irish go with a youngster as opposed to an older player that has been on the depth chart for a minute or a transfer portal quarterback. So sky's the limit, and I'm excited. I'm super excited for CJ Carr. He has earned it. He has done more than enough. Not that Angeli didn't earn a spot, but him transferring out, it is CJ Carr's to lose now. So, and this is why we recruited him. And this is why he had the amount of stars that he has next to his name, because it was supposed to be, you're ready to go when called upon. And here we are. So I'm happy. I'm excited.
Oh, same here, dude. And you and everyone who's been watching the show, you guys have heard me say for a while now that I always felt that this was being set up to be CJ Carr's team to lead. And look, I'm not just leaving his name out. I'm not saying that he doesn't mean squad or that he can't, make an impact. But could Kenny Minchie easily step in and challenge CJ for that starting role and become the guy himself? Yeah, it's very possible. So I'm not going to just throw him off to the side. But I have felt for a while that it's, like I said, it's been CJ Carr's team. It's been set up for him ever since what's his name? The other guy, Dante Moore, I think. Was that his name? Mm-hmm. The other top quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, once he decided that he wasn't going to stay with Notre Dame, I'm like, there it is. It's going to be CJ Carr time eventually in South Bend. But of course, as far as the portal quarterbacks go, as I've said numerous times also on this, Freeman didn't have a choice. He was left with a crappy quarterback situation when he took over the head coaching job at Notre Dame. Angeli wasn't ready yet at that point. Then you had Tyler Buckner, who turned out to not be the answer, and then Drew Pine, who I felt that he saved our season, but he obviously wasn't the answer either back in 2022. Right. But yeah, so while you recruit these quarterbacks, you have to go to the portal to give them time to develop. So we all get that. we all get that aspect of college football and so on and so forth. So, yeah, I just wanted to get your take on that because obviously a big deal at Notre Dame, going to be a new quarterback, but not just a new quarterback, an in-house homegrown quarterback.
Yes.
So, with that said, on to the main topic of this video, and I'm sure there's other things we could talk about as well, but this is the one that really got my attention this week. A 12-year home-and-home series deal between Notre Dame and Clemson starting next year. Now, I don't know how you feel about – yes,
awesome.
Exactly.
It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. 110%. It is quickly becoming a rivalry with Clemson.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all for.
Well, and with the kind of games we've had with them in recent history, it's not shocking, not surprising. I'm glad the administration got this done, not only because it's a team that's not only becoming a rivalry, but it's a team that is very good despite a few setbacks that they might have had recently. Dabo knows how to recruit. That talent's going to get better. But what I also like about it is this shows that Marcus Freeman and Pete Bavacqua, the athletic director at Notre Dame, it shows that they're not afraid to play anybody.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm excited, and I have an interesting maybe conspiracy theory with this one, but
you got to tell you got to say
to hear your take on the 12 years aspect of it, because 12 years is a long time.
Well, what I like about it, basically, to put it bluntly, not only is it a good team that you're going to see for 12 years, which is what you want to see on the schedule. You want to see good teams, but it takes care of one opponent for the next 12 years every year with as far as the rotation goes. So that's one spot on your schedule that you don't have to worry about, that you know is secure. Yep. That's one of the underlying things that I like about this deal. Not just because it's Clemson and it's a good team.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's going to be really interesting to see how the series as a whole pans out and how legitimately competitive each team is for the next 12 years.
Well, on this game on the schedule for both teams, it's gonna have playoff implications year in and year out. It could, when it comes to determining a playoff spot for the end of that said season, on every respective year, it could very well come down to that game of who gets in and who gets out. Possibly. I mean, a lot can change between now and 12 years.
Yes. Right. Yep.
But interestingly enough, with this news with Clemson, I mean, I was hearing from certain sources, and these are, I'll be the first one to admit, these are not exactly sources that are at the university, but it's really just people talking. But I've talked with a few other people this week about, asking them their thoughts on this 12-year deal with Clemson. And apparently it sounds like Notre Dame could possibly look to do the same thing with teams like Florida State and Miami.
That would be crazy if we could nail down 3 teams like that for a long period of time. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome because we were seeing Southern Cal wanting to back out of our rivalry game. So, it's kind of like other teams going, okay, well, if you're going to back out, we're not afraid. We're going to step in. So that's awesome. So, yeah, but I wonder about this whole situation, though, because I think Notre Dame joining a conference is inevitable. I think it is. And I think that with this deal with both teams, that kind of solidifies the ACC with 2 teams, in my opinion. if Notre Dame were to become a full-fledged member of a conference in football.
Is this your conspiracy theory that you were talking about?
Yes.
Okay, well,
And I wonder, like, what is being said among teams behind closed doors.
How's it going, everyone? I am Sean Moriarty.
It's interesting. It's really, really interesting, and if Notre Dame is feeling a little miffed by these Big Ten teams, then, maybe the ACC is calling.
Well, I've said for a long time anyway, screw the Big Ten, so makes no difference to me.
It's just interesting, I mean, aside from Ohio State, we ran the table on Big Ten teams this year, or the past season, I should say. So,
Yeah. Well,
I mean, then again, the only conference that we didn't go undefeated against, other than the Big Ten, is the MAC. So there's that.
Okay, let's just come on.
But yeah, I mean, it's
Blue
interesting
City.
to see. It's interesting to see these developments happen, and it's a huge development between two programs on the upper tier of college football imperialism.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so I like it. I mean, I truly do like it because we have a good thing going with Clemson, and the games have been amazing to watch the last few years with Clemson. And like you said, playoff implications every season. I mean, I feel like, and I mean, I don't know, I don't have the actual statistic in front of me, but I think it would be safe to say that pretty much whoever the winner is of Notre Dame and Clemson, the last however many meetings we've had has made the college football playoff or a BCS game. So, I mean, that's a marquee matchup. Like that's Alabama, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, type matchup year in, year out. So I like it. I'm excited. I feel like it's great for recruiting. It is an absolutely incredible recruiting tool for Freeman.
Yes.
In my opinion. Like, you can go into the South and go, okay, we are playing at least one very Southern team, which is Clemson, and you will be able to see your kid play. So, it's incredible. And that's something that I think some people don't think about when it comes to these matchups. These matchups of these schools and stuff, they look really, really like sexy, if you will, when it comes to like rankings, but they also pay dividends when it comes to recruiting. Because now, when you're a team that's, let's say, like Notre Dame in the Midwest, you're not always seen by all these Southern teams. But now if you're playing a Southern team, those kids are seeing you on TV.
Yeah. Well, and regardless of how much the landscape of college football has changed with, NIL and the transfer portal and all that, the modern athlete has also changed as well. They want to see the glitz and glamour of prime time and these big matchups, which I guess that part of it's never really changed to some degree, but at the same time, it is kind of different, because there was a point where the glitz and glamour wasn't always top priority.
Right. Yeah, because those matchups were at one point few and far between, and the only time you really saw them were in the bowl games, and that's what made them special because you only got to see it once a year. Now we're seeing them multiple times a week.
At least that's what it seems like. Yeah.
I mean, which it's fun if you're a college football lover like us, but it's definitely a change compared to how at least with us when we were kids, let alone some of these older fans that are older than us. So, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, it truly is awesome. And we some bright spots because we were a few steps away from a national championship, which is awesome. But what has kind of overshadowed some stuff is this conference realignment and these like borderline super conferences that are being created. And making a matchup like this is kind of a counterpunch to that super conference, which I like.
Yeah.
So I'm thrilled. I'm excited. I'm glad it's Clemson and not, numerous other teams. I mean, there are a few other teams that I would love to see nailed down year after year, but I think some of them are chicken, if you will. So yeah.
Yeah, well, it's exciting times, man. And as I said earlier, if we were able to do the same thing with, say, a Miami and a Florida State, 3 games on your schedule, 3 marquee matchups. And yes, I know Florida State has struggled in recent history, but they're still Florida State. Always a chance for them to get better. But in that hypothetical,
yeah,
not only three big teams on your schedule, but 3 teams taken care of in that ACC rotation.
Right. Yeah. I mean, in 3 teams that we have a history with, not, a Virginia, and nothing against Virginia, but not like a Virginia, not a Virginia Tech, a Miami, a Florida State, a Clemson. Like, that's awesome. Those are the quote unquote top dogs of that conference. And I mean, and it's cool to see Boston College because of the Holy War, and it's cool to see Pittsburgh, due to our rivalry with them. But I mean, the top dogs for the last decade plus of that conference are Miami, Florida State, Clemson. So, yeah, sky's the limit. All in all, though, it's exciting. I mean, and like I said, the flip side of the recruiting is not just you get to see your kid, but you also want these matchups because these are the ones that the kids want. And the kids want it because they know that that's when the NFL scouts are paying attention. And that's what Notre Dame needs. You need these games so you can compete with these quote unquote super conferences that are the Big Ten and the SEC. So, yeah, I mean, if we could nail down a marquee Big Ten opponent like Michigan on the schedule, I mean, could you imagine a schedule with like Michigan, Clemson, Miami, Florida State? I mean, that would be an insane schedule just with those 4 games. And that's not to mention that in future years we have Florida, Alabama, Arkansas. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy and exciting.
Arkansas is this upcoming season.
Yep, Arkansas this season. I think next season we start a home and home with Florida, and then in like 2.5 or 3 years, I want to say Alabama, if memory serves me right. So,
yeah, I'll have to go back and look.
Crazy, and awesome. Excitement all around.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I'm excited. All right.
Yes, I think we all are, and I think that's going to conclude it for this episode. So on that note, everyone, I am Sean Moriarty.
I'm Benjamin Walters.
And as we always say every video, good night, God bless, and go Irish.
Go Irish. Beat Clemson?